Guys, everybody, it's rare that we get cards like this in the UFC. Cards like Andrade versus Blanchfield, where the co-main event is Jordan Wright versus Zach Pauga. I know. You guys are all tired of the amount of press surrounding this card, so I'm gonna try to make this video a bit shorter. You know, so much attention, so much hype around this UFC fight night. So I'm gonna keep it to a minimum, and I'm gonna go through this card very swiftly, very quickly. Now, Clayton Carpenter versus Juan Camilo Ronderos for the first fight of the night, and Juan Camilo Ronderos, he is from Colombia, so I have to give him the first round knockout. It's going to be a quick night for Ronderos. He's going to get that first round knockout win, and that'll be it. Colombia will get their next UFC champion. And we're going to move on to AJ Fletcher versus Thema Gorimbo. AJ Fletcher is right now, I think he's 0-2 in the UFC. But I still got him winning by a split decision. That very specific there. Thema Gorimbo, he is from Zimbabwe. I haven't seen a Zimbabwe UFC fighter or a fighter from Zimbabwe ever. But I think that's very cool. But I still got him. I still got AJ Fletcher winning the split decision. I'm going to be very specific there in the split decision. So, yeah, still got AJ Fletcher winning this fight. The reason I don't got these things pulled up already is because I already made the predictions video, but I realized that I wasn't recording, and I already got all the picks in, so I'm going to just go over them. I'm not going to be really picking much of these. But, yeah, we move to OSP, Oven St. Preux versus Felipe Lins. OSP, the veteran, versus Felipe Lins. He's 15-5, and I think he's coming off of a 2-fight win streak. I think so. Yeah, but doesn't change the fact I still got OSP winning by decision. OSP is kind of the decision master, decision. Oh no, he did knock out Alonzo Menefield. That was the fight that made me pick Jimmy Crute to win his fight, and then that didn't happen. So I don't know. He's coming off of a win against Shogun Rua, split decision, UFC 274 main card and all that. Not the most fun fight, but I don't know, man. OSP. I still got him winning this fight, and I got him winning by a very famous OSP unanimous decision. We're gonna move on to Jamal Emmers versus Kusain Ashkabov. Hold on, I didn't even look at the odds. Felipe Lins, he's minus 215 for this fight. OSP's plus 185. I still got him winning the fight though. But we're gonna move on to Jamal Emmers versus Kusain Ashkabov from the United Arab Emirates. I don't think I've seen a fighter from there either. So got United Arab Emirates, Zimbabwe, Colombia. We've got other countries that we don't see many fighters from. And, very nice card here. I can't lie. But, yeah, I think for this one, it all comes down to the records. Jamal Emmers is 18-6. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad record. But when I say Kusain Ashkabov's record is 23-0. And most of those wins come by finish in an early round. It's very different. Like, here's the thing. Both these guys haven't competed in a while. Like a year, 2 years, right? But I just don't see a 23-fight winning streak. With a lot of them coming by finish, I don't see that getting broken in this fight. I don't know. Me personally, I have to give the win to Ashkabov by submission in the second round. He's skilled pretty much everywhere, Ashkabov. He's very versatile. He got wins by knockout. He's got wins by submission, all different kinds of submissions, whether it's joints or chokes. I feel like that, kind of cage rust is going to come off in the first round for both these guys. It's going to be somewhat slow in the first round, but by the end of that first round, they're going to start to pick it up. And then in the second round, they're going to pick it up even more. And then Ashkabov is just going to find his opening, and he's going to get the submission. Lena Landsberg versus Myra Bueno Silva. Now, when I saw the odds today, for the first time. And you know what I said to myself? I said, fair enough. Because look, number 12 versus number 14 in the women's bantamweight division. And Myra Bueno Silva, I feel like she's just got it. I've got her winning by submission in the first round. Because, I don't know, 3-fight losing streak. Carl Rosa. I don't know how to say that name. And then Sarah McMahon. All unanimous decision losses. She had wins against Macy Chiasson. That's pretty good, but I don't know. Lena Landsberg is 41 years old. Mayra Bueno Silva's 10 years younger. She's from Brazil. She's a heavy favorite. She's on a win streak. She's got submissions in her game. Her only recent loss in her last 5 fights was against Manon Fiorot, who's number 1 contender in that division right now. Or is she? I think she's number 1. I think it's flyweight. Yeah, flyweight. But that doesn't change the fact that, Mayra Bueno Silva is much, much better on the ground than Lena Landsberg. And I think that's just where the fight's going to end up going. And it's just going to be a win for Bueno Silva there. But we're going to move on to Nazim Sadikov versus Evan Elder. And no odds for this fight, but this is the featured prelim. Nazim Sadikov is from the same, fighting out of the same country as Rafael Fiziev. So that's pretty cool there. And that was a big deciding factor in, not a big one, but it was a small one, honestly. But I think Sadikov will take the win by decision. They both are 7-1. They have the exact same record in MMA. I feel like it all comes down to the opponents they fought and how they beat them. Sadikov has fought the harder opponents and has beat them in the more impressive ways. He's gotten mainly finishes in his career. He got submissions as well. Evan Elder, I think half of his wins come by decision, and they're against less good guys. So factoring all that in, I take Sadikov by decision. I'm pretty sure Sadikov was on the Contender Series in his last fight, if I am not mistaken. If it would pull up, though. Yeah, if it'd come up. Yeah, he was on the Contender Series, and he won by knockout. It took him a bit to adjust, but he got the win. He got a knockout, and, he did lose that one fight by rear naked choke. That was, 4 years ago, 2018. It was his first ever fight. Since then, he's gone on a 7-fight winning streak. Most of them are by finish. He's on a 4-fight finish streak. So, I don't see why I wouldn't give him that win. So we're going to move on to the main card. Jim Miller versus Alexander Hernandez. This is a really good fight. I think it's a way better fight than the fight that they had before with Gabriel Benitez. Jim Miller and Alexander Hernandez. Did I already say it's a very fun fight? I'm very much looking forward to this fight. Jim A10 Miller coming off a win against Donald Cerrone, UFC 276. Alexander Hernandez coming off of a loss to Billy Quarantillo at UFC 282 about a month and a half ago. Yeah, no, like 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago. So, yeah, he's on a 2-fight losing streak to some of the best guys at lightweight right now. Renato Moicano's ranked. He lost to Thiago Moises, who's one of the top guys there. Drew Dober as well, who's ranked as well. And obviously Billy Quarantillo, who he had to cut a lot of weight for that fight. Alexander Hernandez, if you want to see that interview, you can go ahead and watch it. He revealed some pretty interesting details about what happened after his weight cut. But Jim Miller, 3-fight winning streak, all finishes in the second round as well. We got 2 knockouts and we got a submission. One of them was against Donald Cerrone. He did retire after this fight, but Donald Cerrone is a veteran, and this was their rematch, so Jim Miller got his back in the rematch, and now he's fighting Alexander Hernandez. Thing is with this fight is Hernandez is coming in on short notice to fight Jim Miller. He's coming on I think a week's notice, a little bit more than that. Doesn't change my pick. It kind of does change how I think the fight is going to go. I think Hernandez is way better on the feet than Jim Miller. Jim Miller's not. In his last fight, he didn't look very good. In that first round, when it came to the striking, he was getting clipped with a lot of shots. And I feel like if it was Hernandez would just capitalize a lot more and land bigger, heavier shots. So the way I see it is, I don't see Jim Miller getting knocked out, and I definitely don't see him getting submitted. I feel like the ground is definitely where Jim Miller's gonna have the strength in this fight, but I feel like Hernandez is just gonna pull something out of the woodworks and get a win by decision. And if he doesn't, then I think he gets cut. Maybe he has one more fight. But yeah, I feel like it's just the fact that Hernandez kind of has to win this fight, because if he doesn't, that would be terrible for his career. Even on short notice, it's still a loss is a loss in the fans' eyes and in the UFC's eyes. And I don't know, man. I don't know. But William Knight versus Marcin Prachno. And if you saw the weigh-ins, oh my lord. William Knight came in absolutely shredded for this fight. And that was one of the Big deciding factors in me picking him to win by first round knockout. It's heavyweight. It happens, and I don't know, man. I don't know. If I could pull both of these guys up, both of their their last couple fights and their careers and all that. William Knight, I think he's on a 2-fight losing streak. Is he? Yeah, he is. And he's not had the most luck in grappling matches either, as of late. He's on a 2-fight losing streak to Devin Clark, which was by knockout, and Maxime Grisham, which was by decision. Other than that, in his what do you call it? UFC career, I mean, he's had only one loss by knockout, and that was in his most recent fight. That was in April, though. I feel like since then he's come back. He's lost a lot of that, that chub. He's very shredded for this fight, and that time off may help him in this fight. Prachino has a worse record than William Knight does in the UFC. And he's coming off of only a 1-fight losing streak. It's not even a streak against Felipe Lins. Before that, he won by body kick. It was a knockout. And he also beat Khalil Roundtree. But before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. And I don't know how he didn't get cut, especially it was his first 3 fights. But he powered through, and I don't know, man. He lost to Sam Alvey. He lost to Magomed Ankalaev, which is not a bad win at all. He lost to Mike Rodriguez. But these were all first-round knockout losses. And I don't know, man. William Knight, I feel like he's just going to come in there. He's going to have that layoff. He's going to have that, the time off. And I think that's going to work in his favor. That's my prediction. I think he's going to go. I think he might go crazy. I think he's going to get first round knockout like these guys did. And I think after this fight that Marcin might get cut. And if that doesn't happen, if Marcin ends up winning the fight, then I don't know. William Knight might be done instead. So, because the layoff could also work in Marcin's favor, because the layoff isn't always a good thing. Most times it ends up being a bad thing. But I'm going to still take the bet. I'll take William Knight by knockout. That's my pick. I think are the odds up for it? Yeah, they're both pretty even. Hernandez is a big betting favorite, and I'm betting on him as well. So, yeah, not real money. Topology points. That's what I'm betting. That's it. But we're going to move on to John Parisian versus Jamal Pogues. And, if we look at their most recent fights, they're both heavyweights. We got number 2 U.S. West heavyweight and the number 60 worldwide heavyweight. That's pretty impressive. I can't lie. That's kind of impressive. Jamal Pogues is it doesn't show here, but he is the moderate favorite at -250. He is much younger. He has the much better record as well. I feel like with this fight, what it comes down to is, I think, and I got it written down here, I think Parisian takes it by unanimous decision. If I could pull both these guys up to try to try to explain why I got this one in Parisian's favor, considering that Pogues is a big betting favorite. 2-2 in the UFC. He's been knocked out once. It was in 2021. Since then, he fought on I forgot which card this was. Yeah, I forgot what card it was. But he did win that fight by knockout. And if we look at Jamal Pogues, he is making his UFC debut. He's got 2 wins on a Contender Series. Damn, I'm starting to reconsider this. I can't even lie. Why do I have Parisian winning? What? Oh, it's because of these fights beforehand. Man, he lost to Parker Porter. I don't know, man. I think got the unanimous decision wins, but heel hook in the 4th round. I'm kind of contemplating with myself now. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to stick to my gun. I'm going to stick to my gun. John Parisian, he's got more experience. He is older, which usually is not a good thing, but I think the experience will work toward his favor. The thing is, Jamal Pogues, he's got 2 wins on a Contender Series. That's pretty crazy. 2 wins. One of them was 3 years ago. One of them was 5 months ago. But I'm going to say John Parisian. I think it's definitely going to go to a decision, I feel like. But Parisian, he's got a lot of knockouts in his past. He's got a lot of finishes. And Even though he lost to Parker Porter, I'm going to say, he lost to the GOAT, Parker Porter. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time. So I'm going to take him winning by unanimous decision. We're going to move on to the co-main event. Zach Pauga versus Jordan Wright. Now, a lot of people have been talking shit about this fight. I'm excited for this fight. Me personally, I'm super excited for this fight. Now, we got middleweight Jordan Wright versus heavyweight Zach Pauga meeting in the middle at light heavyweight for a fight. That's a crazy concept to me, but Zach Pauga, he's looking super slim down. If you don't know about Zach Pauga, he was on the Ultimate Fighter Season 30 for Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. I think Zach Pauga was the best heavyweight on that show. Usman won because of his power. Zach Pauga did way better in his exhibition fights, way better than Muhammad Usman did. Some could say that Usman's opponents got robbed in those fights. I've seen some people argue that, but yeah, Usman he was much heavier and he's much bigger, much more powerful. The knockout made sense. Usman just had to discover his power and he put it out there. He got the knockout win. And now Zach Pauga is coming back. He stays on the roster because finalists stay on the UFC roster. And he's going up against Jordan Wright, who is 2-4 in the UFC. He's on a 3-fight losing streak to Bruno Silva, Marc-Andre Barriol, and Dusko Todorovic. They're all knockout losses, but they're against guys that aren't terrible. He did win against Jamie Pickett, who's fighting Bo Nichols. So that's got to say something, I feel like. I don't know. But, his most recent fight was on the Alexa Grasso, Vivian Araujo fight night. And it was a pretty crazy fight. Jordan Wright was winning the first round, and then Todorovic just came back and got the finish in the second round. And, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just not looking good in his most recent fights. And if we're looking at a very skilled guy like Zach Pauga, who's, he's looked pretty impressive in his Ultimate Fighter run, not including the finals match, but I feel like Zach Pauga wins this fight, and I'm rooting for him to win this fight. I'm gonna take him by what did I have down here? I did not have a knockout. I'll take him by decision. No, I don't. I do not take him by decision. The power is just a bit much. He's more powerful than these guys. I don't think I don't think he's as skilled as some of them, but he's got more power. I'll take him by knockout. I'll take him by knockout in the second round. Actually, no. If you let it go to the second round, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll say second round. Second round knockout for Zach Pauga, and rooting for him in this fight. I don't know, though. Jordan Wright, if he loses this fight in any way, shape, or form, he will likely get cut from the promotion. So it's going to be kind of sad if that happens. Hoping for the best for both of them. I really want Zach Pauga to win. I was rooting for him to win the Ultimate Fighter finals. I was rooting for him throughout the whole season, man. But, it is what it is. Jessica Andrade versus Erin Blanchfield. This is a good fight. This is a really good fight. This is a better fight than Taila Santos versus Blanchfield. That was number 1 versus number 10 for a fight night. Made no sense. Honestly, why would you make that happen? But, you want both of those guys to challenge for the title. So why would you put them up against each other if there's no interim title on the line, no title eliminator or nothing like that? You can boost up Erin Blanchfield with someone that's in between number 5 and number 10 to get her that hype. And Jessica Andrade, you might, because she's on a win streak and she's doing really good in strawweight and flyweight. You could have her doing her thing too. So I don't know why they had to, this one, it makes sense because it was short notice. But when it's Taila Santos, you want Taila Santos to challenge for that title again. You need opponents for Valentina Shevchenko. And Manon Fiorot wasn't going to fight. So the next guy in line was Taila Santos, the rematch. And that was the fight that made sense. So are you really going to risk it with an Erin Blanchfield fight? And even if Taila Santos wins, are you going to get a title shot off of beating the number 10 ranked fighter? On paper, it doesn't make a lot of sense. The fight itself, it's a very fun one. I was very excited for it. It didn't make a lot of sense, though. That was a big reason why I was very excited for it. But yeah, Jessica Andrade versus Erin Blanchfield. The newcomer versus the somewhat veteran. Jessica Andrade is a former strawweight champion, and she is coming off a 3-fight winning streak. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. One of the wins was submission of the year contender, and the other win was very, very brutal. I think this was the most significant strikes in women's flyweight history against Lauren Murphy. It was a 30-25 on my card, 30-25 on most of the other judges' cards, and yeah, how could you disagree? Her most recent loss was against Valentina Shevchenko. Before that, Rose Namajunas. Before that, Weili Zhang. She only loses to the best. Now, is Erin Blanchfield the best at 10-1? I don't think she's there yet. She's obviously not in her prime. She's going to get there. But you got to admit, this winning streak she's got going on right now, pretty impressive. Her win against Molly McCann, very impressive. And on the ground is where Erin Blanchfield is probably going to be the most dangerous. I feel like on the feet, it's going to be all Andrade. But I think Andrade has more of an advantage on that feet than Blanchfield has advantage on the ground, if that makes sense. I think Andrade is just going to, even on short notice, I don't see how she can lose this fight. It's kind of like Sean Strickland versus Nasruddin Imavov, right? Except this time, Sean Strickland is on a 3-fight winning streak, finishes and impressive fights, such crazy performances that, people were doubting Strickland in that fight. I'm doubting Jessica Andrade a lot less than I doubted Strickland, and I think it shows with the records, the performances, who they fought. Erin Blanchfield's most impressive win is Molly McCann. Jessica Andrade's most impressive win is, all of them. All of them are more impressive than, a lot of them are more impressive than Molly McCann. She's fought the best. Lauren Murphy, Amanda Lemos, Valentina Shevchenko, Katlyn Chookagian, Namajunas twice, Weili Zhang, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Gladia Gadella, Tisha Torres, Angela Hill, Joanne Wood. Raquel Pennington is just everywhere. Everywhere, it's all just top-level guys, and Erin Blanchfield's best win is Molly McCann. I think there's just a bit of difference there. I don't see Erin Blanchfield getting finished. I don't. She hasn't gotten finished in her professional career, but I do got Jessica Andrade winning, and I will take her by a somewhat dominant unanimous decision. Or maybe it'll be a close fight, 48-47, whatever it may be. I don't see Andrade losing the fight, not even on short notice. I do take Andrade by unanimous decision. Guys, that is it for the... Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about the odds. There are no odds. They're not showing the odds. I think they should have the odds here, though, right? Andrade is the slight favorite. Yeah. So that is the card. Jessica Andrade versus Erin Blanchfield, UFC Fight Night, UFC Vegas 69. And excited for this one. More excited than most people are for this card. And I'll definitely be watching. And Juan Camilo Ronderos, he will get the win by first round knockout. Trust.